Two edge or not two edge? That is the question. God, why am I spinning? What's up everyone, Austin here, and today I have an unboxing and my first impressions of the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. Now for the sake of comparison, I got both the Black Sapphire and White Pearl colors, and both of the phones are running on Verizon. Both of them have the exact same specs, 8 cores, 3 gigs of RAM, a Quad HD screen, and a 60 megapixel camera. Really the only difference is that you'll pay a premium if you want the curved screen featured on the Edge. Even the packaging is exactly the same. In the box we have a SIM ejection tool, some Samsung headphones with inline controls, and a pretty weirdly shaped earbuds, a standard micro USB charging cable, and last but not least an AC wall adapter for charging. This is actually Samsung's adaptive fast wall charger that was previously used with the Note 4. It can charge a battery from 0 to 50 in about 30 minutes. It's basically the equivalent of Motorola's turbocharger. So after taking the S6 out of its plastic wrap, I can already tell you that this is the best feeling phone Samsung has ever made. The front and the back of the phone are covered in Gorilla Glass 4, and the sides are all metal. It's infinitely better than the S5 and more premium than any Android phone I've used in recent history. It also looks really, really nice. I really love the clean design. And the same goes for the Edge. It has the exact same awesome build quality, but also throws in a curved screen that wraps around slightly on both sides. This is really the only difference between the two, and you'll have to pay a $100 premium for the curved screen. An interesting thing to note though is that the black version actually isn't black. It has a blue tint to it. Still looks pretty good, but it's not really black. Now, the S6 obviously took some design cues from the iPhone 6. The metal edges look exactly like the iPhone. I mean, exactly. But that's not a bad thing at all. In fact, they actually improved it in some areas. For example, they flattened the sides, which make the regular S6 much more easier to hold than the rounded edges on the iPhone 6. The Edge, on the other hand, is basically impossible to hold comfortably. Because of the curved screen, there isn't much space for the volume rocker and power button, and the sides are really thin and sharp. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but for right now, it's not that great. On the top, there's an IR blaster, and on the bottom, well, there's an iPhone. And on the front, there's the standard Samsung buttons, only this time there's a much improved fingerprint reader. Both of the phones feature a 16 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization and 4K video modes, as well as a heart rate monitor. Powering on the phone, the only real difference in software is the branding, along with some screen-specific apps found on the Edge. Both phones are running Android 5.0 right out of the box with the familiar TouchWiz skin laid on top of it. And I've never really been a fan of TouchWiz. It's honestly the same as every other version I've used. But this time you can at least uninstall or disable all of the bloatware they put on the phone if you get it through one of their carriers. Like I said before, the software experience is virtually the same. These are the same phones, just different screens. Now right below those screens are the fingerprint readers. Now instead of having to swipe your finger across like on the S5, you can just rest your finger on the home button and it'll unlock the phone. This is a lot more similar to the iPhone, and you can tell what they were going for even by just looking at the setup screen. It looks really familiar. But fortunately, it doesn't just look like the iPhone scanner, it performs just as well. The scanner is a million times better than the one found on the S5. Now, another new addition for the S6 is the capability for wireless charging. Now, I've never been a huge fan of wireless charging just because it takes so much longer than regular charging, but the wireless charging does work pretty well, although you have to make sure you place it right on the middle of the charger. But luckily, it is compatible with just about every wireless charging technology that is out there, so that's a pretty nice touch. So moving on to what makes these phones special, at least one of these phones special, the curved display. I really like it so far. Other than the crappy grip you get from the sides, it's really nice. You get a really cool feeling when swiping from the left and the right, not just one side like on the Note Edge. And I'll let you guys know my final thoughts on it in my final review, but even though it feels good, I'm not quite sure that it's worth the extra money you would pay for it. It does have some interesting features, but some people are just going to look at them as gimmicks and they'll probably never use them. So you can set up 5 of your favorite contacts to appear on the edge of the screen when you swipe in from the right of the screen, and it's just an easy way to get your favorite contacts if you need to call them or text them at any time. Also, depending on who calls or messages you, the screen will light up in a different color depending on which contact it is. You only really get the effect if the phone is face down and the room is kind of dark, so I'm not sure how useful this feature will actually be, but I'll definitely try it out more in the next couple of weeks and let you guys know what I think, again, in my full review. Other than that, you can also get an RSS feed and night clock, but I'm not sure how useful those will be. So those are my initial impressions of the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. I haven't really been impressed with the Samsung phone in a long time, but I think they've got a winner on their hands here. The build quality is amazing, the screen is amazing, and the fingerprint scanner is great. Overall, things are looking pretty good. I just have to see how the battery life runs in comparison to the S5, since they did include a lower battery. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of these two phones in the comments down below. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can see all of my latest videos in the future, including my reviews on both of these phones. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.